Welcome one more time to our Idea Edition podcast, and I'm so excited to present today's guest because I've known Jorge Anselmo for a very long time, probably since 2016, so a lot of years, and he's been a mentor to me. He helped me grow the agency, and he has over 25 years of experience. He is now the director of sales for the entire state of Florida for WellCare health plans. So that is a lot of responsibility. But not only that, he's also a father of 6, which is amazing. I don't know how he can handle running such a big business with WellCare, but at the same time being a father. So we're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna talk a little bit more to him about how WellCare helps grow agents, how he has grown in his life, especially with such a big family, but at the same time, helping grow WellCare business. So Joey, I'm so happy to have you on board. Thank you for being here today in our podcast.
My pleasure, Jorge. Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. We're going to have fun today.
We are. Yeah. So Joey, just to start, if you can tell us a little bit, how you grew up, where you come from, and how you got started in the insurance business 25 years ago.
It's an interesting story. Well, to me it is anyway, but I would have to say that I started in the restaurant business when I was 12 years old. My father owned an A&W root beer stand, right?
Wow.
He got me into the local culinary school, and that chef got me into the Culinary Institute of America. And so that was my first love. I was a chef, and I moved down to Florida after graduation, and I ran into this guy at a restaurant 15 years later.
Wow.
And he says, listen, Joey, I graduated with this guy from chef school. He says, listen, Joey, I heard your wife's pregnant. You need to get out of this business and go get your insurance license.
No way. 15 years after running a restaurant business.
After graduating from chef school, I run into this guy. And he's a Humana executive. I think he might be retired by now, but he's the one that got me in the business. 3 months later, I was working for Humana.
Wow!
Back in '99.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 1999, you started as an agent. Yep. And you started as an agent, right? Selling Medicare plans, to prospecting, marketing, all of that good stuff.
Yeah,
right?
That was back in the day when you had seminars, and you could feed the whole world, and 100 people would show up, and you'd write 12 of them. That was a great world back then. But we did all of it. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And then 4 years later, I started with WellCare, and so been with WellCare now going on 17 years.
17 years with WellCare. Mm-hmm. And then once you started with WellCare, it was not your current role, right? You have also grown and developed leadership skills within WellCare,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah, I started as an agent, same with WellCare. And then when Brevard County opened up, I was the only person that raised my hand to be a manager. So I got the job managing a team of 5 out in Brevard County as a brand new plan. We had just opened up Brevard County back in 2005 or 6. Excuse me. And so from there, I kept developing myself, and then I moved back to Orlando. And this is on the W-2 side. And then I left for a small, brief moment, WellCare for 3 years and worked for an FMO.
Okay.
A big FMO, Carefree.
Yeah.
And so I worked for them for 3 years, and then I got a call from WellCare, and one of my mentors, Greg McDonald, asked me to come back and run the broker channel.
Yeah, I remember Greg.
Yeah. And so that was 2010. So for 14 years, I've been doing the actual broker channel for WellCare. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think WellCare has like 6,000 brokers or something like that in Florida, something crazy.
We're up to 10 now.
10. Wow.
10,000 certified brokers.
Wow. That is just huge.
In 2010, it was only 200.
Yeah.
So we've grown a lot.
You've grown a lot.
Yeah.
And WellCare has dominated the Florida market for a long time. And that is impressive. I remember when I started with WellCare in 2016, that was the training that WellCare provided is just top of the line. And it taught me a lot about how to market myself, how to really go out there and get those clients.
Absolutely.
So Joey, can you expand a little bit more on especially new agents, right? You start in this industry, you get your license, you don't know a lot, right? You don't really know how to make this business work. What are some tips and recommendations maybe you can recommend to that new agent starting out?
I think one of the things that new agents face that's very, very difficult is the amount of certifications that you have to do and all the information that you're receiving. So it's paralysis from analysis, and you don't know what to do first, right? And so first of all, find a mentor, right, that's successful. Surround yourself with successful people, always a great advice, right? And learn what they do. And what they do is normally is they're fishing out of different buckets. So they have, they're doing events, they're working with doctors' offices, they have a referral source, they're doing all kinds of things to start. That's where you start. You have to get started. It's not going to be amazing every single day of your life, but it's going to require a while of really, really digging into your community, being that person, that go-to person for Medicare, and getting into making relationships with your doctor's office, with your provider groups, with your ancillary providers, your dental folks, and all that kind of thing. And so it's really a matter of building relationships that will, in turn, make you a strong, very strong business person. And leads will come your way.
Awesome. So it's more of a relationship business is what we notice. It's not transactional like a lot of people. A lot of people think sales is transactional, right? You do a pitch and you close a deal, but not necessarily Medicare. And I think healthcare at all, in all of the lines of business that we can do with the license, you have to have a relationship with the clients because that's how you get referrals, right? And how did you do it? How did you grow within WellCare? Like when you were a sales agent, what are some of those things you did back then to kind of make those sales?
So it was a little bit easier back then because we didn't have period. We didn't have AEP. We didn't have lock-in. We didn't have any of that.
No way.
Enroll everybody every day. And so it was like you can get 100 in every single month if you wanted to. And there were agents that were doing that. So I locked on to those guys and found out what they were doing. And so they had referring brokers, so you have to get a group of referring brokers. You have to work with your provider offices, right? And so, and then events, right? Doing all types of events in the community and volunteering in your local community, I think is very, very important as well. So, yeah, it was a different world back then, but when I got started, it was brand new to me. It was very exciting, and so I just wanted to learn what everybody knew that was doing really well.
Awesome. And let's talk a little bit about the market in Florida. Very competitive market. What trends do you see that are happening? Like, in order for a broker to be successful now, what things do you recommend for them to do to stand out from this competitive market?
I would say don't be scared or don't feel like there's too many brokers and not enough people. There's 5 million eligible people in the state of Florida.
Wow.
5
million
eligible for Medicare.
Wow.
There's plenty of people to go around. All right. Yeah. So don't get discouraged by this broker is a great agent and they're doing all this business and I'll never get that because they work. You have to just continue to try and go to different places, uncover different locations, different organizations like your home church, just everything that you do in your own community, I think is really, really important to become that person. And everything, again, with 5 million people, there's plenty to go around.
Yeah, and that's so true, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. And the market penetration, I don't think if we count all counties in Florida, it's not even 50%.
Right.
So 2.5 million of those might not be even on a Medicare Advantage plan.
Absolutely right.
So there is plenty of opportunity for everybody. Wow, that is amazing. What are some of the skills that you think the agent needs to have in order to be successful here in the industry?
I think we, as agents, and I'll count myself as one as well, like to talk a lot. We want to pitch. We don't want to forget anything. And we want to sell. We want to say, I got this, I have that, I have the best this, best that. It's more important to start that relationship off by listening, answering, asking the right questions and listening for the response. So you get rid of any negative questions that might come out in the end, right? So you want to address those things while you're doing your sales pitch, and so they don't come up as problems in the enrollment process and the sales process. So I think we really need to spend a lot more time listening.
Wow.
And because people will tell you everything, they'll, when you're in someone's home, they're going to pull up their shirt and show you all their scars, and they'll tell you anything you want. Back in the day, we used to collect checks, and they would say, "Here, write the check. I can't see." They would give you everything. I mean, seniors are very forward with the health insurance person that's going to give them these benefits, and they're very forward, and so. Ask questions, listen, and keep notes. And so then it'll just, again, a relationship business. Completely.
Wow. Incredible. What's more important to you, sales or marketing?
Well, can't have one without the other, right? Sometimes. So, I like the marketing because it's the build up to what the end product is, right? So you're going to start this marketing process and you're going to put all these resources towards it, but the end result is sales, right? So it's kind of like the mulch of the process that gets things going and building. And so I love sales. Obviously, that's where you make your dough. And so as agents, we got to kind of pull back and realize that you do have to do marketing in order to have a great sales, book, right? And so marketing excites me. I love doing it. I love getting out in the community. I love presenting. I love doing all those things. And so, but the sales at the end of the day is the reward.
It's the reward, It's a result of the marketing.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, it's funny because I got agents that sometimes they tell me, you put me in front of a client and I'll close them. Right. But then they don't want to do the marketing. They just want that booked appointment where they just go and run it. And you know what? A thing I noticed very early in this business is that it doesn't work quite like that. You have to be great at marketing in order for this to work. So I'm so glad you expanded on that. How does WellCare help agents with their marketing? I remember when I was with WellCare, like, you guys have a great system for training agents on how to market themselves. Right. Can you give some of those tips to our audience here?
Absolutely. So we have not only a great management team at each local major metro city, but and they're going to give you all the things you need to do marketing, tabletops with the tablecloths, the giveaways, the brochures, everything you need to do that. If you need help uncovering locations, we have marketing outreach specialists, right? You can connect with them directly and they'll help you uncover locations. If they need to pay something to get you into a location, they'll do that. We also have now a provider growth consultant. So if you want to work with providers, we have a person now specifically that only works with providers and is responsible for their growth. So there's so many tools that WellCare offers to the broker. And not only in materials and giveaways and all those goods, and we don't charge you for any of that, but we also have people in the field on the street that are looking to uncover events and also uncovering providers that want to grow their WellCare book of business.
Wow, that is amazing. And all of those resources, a lot of brokers, they don't take advantage of that.
They don't.
So it's important to get engaged and get engaged with local managers, local supervisors, get engaged with the marketing team. I think if they can do that for the agent, that's a very big part of being successful. Of course, the agent has to work and have to find the places, but it's very important to know that they have those resources as well. I'm gonna ask you a big one now.
Okay.
If you can change something in the industry, Medicare industry, what will it be and why?
If I could change something in the Medicare industry, it would be, oh man, that's a really good one, Jorge. So I don't know if I just would like to not have so much regulation and so many limitations on what we can do to market, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to weed out the bad actors so we can really continue to act as professionals and do the right thing for the client at the right time for the right reasons. And so having all these, restrictions on how we can market and all the stuff that came out in 2009 and the recordings just recently and all that kind of stuff, I wish that agents can really be agents and really let themselves fly and not be so restricted. I think that's really where it's at for me if I had it, because old, right? So I like the way the old days were, where you can just have an appointment and go in and do a great job and make a relationship and get a sale at the end of the day, and then get referrals on top of that, right? And so, as far as if I could change something, I think that would be it. I think brokers are paid pretty well, for the business that they do, including renewals. So I think people can make a fantastic living at this business, better than fantastic. And so, once you're at it for 3, 4, 5 years and you built your book up to 6, 7, 800, clients, I think you're living pretty good, right?
Oh yeah. I think this is the best business in the world, Joey. I compare this with any other industry, and because we're not only making money, but we're also helping people. We are changing the society. We're helping these seniors out live a better life, and so you get that satisfaction, but at the same time you're also making a living for yourself. And if you just do the right thing and focus on being professional,
right,
you will make it, and you will make it big. What are some of the things where one of the agents or brokers put a client with WellCare? What are some of the things that WellCare provides to those clients, to better their lives once they become a member?
Well, when you become a member of WellCare, first of all, you have a portal that's on wellcare.com where they can go in there and they can register as a member. And so everything that their care team is on there. They could do order prescriptions on there. If they have any billing situations, they could do all their billing through there. We also have a health yearly health exams and tests that we actually pay a couple $100 for each member. So some of the stuff is as they get them done, and the doctor reports it to the plan, and so they're eligible to go onto the site, order gift cards, and get gift cards delivered to the house just for getting the flu vaccine or getting their checkup or mammogram, whatever it might be. And so I think that's really
amazing.
A nice plus.
Yeah, the healthy rewards.
Healthy rewards is awesome.
A lot of my members use it.
They do.
That is amazing. It's so easy to redeem it too. So,
and included in that is also a plan that has a very, very strong network of specialists, right? And so I think, us being around since 1985, coming on 40 years now.
Are you kidding me? 40 years? Wow.
And so, we have the strength and the network, and also I think the formulary is also fabulous for our members too.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
40 years already. Well, it was 31, so that does make sense. It was 30 when I started, so very, very good, very, very strong. Love WellCare. So let's jump a little bit, Joey, on I want to learn a little bit more about you, man. So, what are some of the things that motivate you on a daily living to do what you do?
In my current position, I have 12 managers under me. And what really motivates me is to help each of those people grow.
Wow.
Whether to grow within the organization or whether to grow and leave and go on to bigger and better things. And so I really want people to ask a lot of questions. I want to offer them, courses that we have in Centene University that they can take to learn more about maybe provider contracting and things of, like that, to grow inside and become I hope you want my job, right? And so really, I want to give them the tools to do that.
Wow.
I just don't want to have managers that, are, hey, how many did you get yesterday? Who'd you see? But, that's kind of redundant. I want there to be a greater reward at the end of the year, right? I want there to be growth. I want them to feel successful, and I want them to feel like they learned something to better themselves in this profession.
Wow.
So for me, it's all about growing people. And I have 2 examples that left me over the past year that I'm so proud of.
Wow.
They were directors and senior managers, and they just left, and they're just doing fantastic things with another organization.
Yeah.
I'm a proud papa. I really am.
That is it is a great feeling, right? Oh. And then on my side, I see that with agents, right? We recruit them, we train them, we provide all the supports. We show them how to do this business, and then they slowly start building that book of business, right? right? And then when we see that they get to 50 and then 100 and then 200 and then all of a sudden they're making a six-figure income,
Right.
and you're like, wow. And this person did not know anything about this industry.
Right.
And look at them now.
Right.
That is a very, very good satisfaction, and it is what gets me up every day too. So so thank you so much for sharing that. What is the best advice a mentor ever gave you in this industry?
So recruit as many people as you possibly can. Just keep don't ever stop recruiting. You have to recruit all the time. This business is a, for lack of a better word, a numbers game as far as having the number of brokers available to you, right? And treat them, with respect, and give them the knowledge that they need to do well with your products, right? And so I think that was the some of the best advice I got. It was when I first started with Carefree, one of the old ex-Humana, two guys that actually started that company years and years ago, and their advice was, and consistently be persistent, which is also right. It's also all about persistence, and that not only as a manager to grow, but also as a broker, an agent, to do not stop knocking on doors. Do not stop calling that client that won't call you back. Do not stop. Don't take no, right? It's really, really important that people understand that no is not the end of the day. No is a suggestion. So excuse me. So I think there's a lot to learn for people, and I think this business is fantastic, but it's not to have the anxiety about getting started. It's overcoming those fears and getting out there and getting in front of people and practicing your craft. And so, what I learned back in the day was I listened to a whole bunch of people do a whole bunch of presentations.
Wow.
And I said, okay, I got this from this guy, because this rings with me.
Wow.
And so that's how I present, Okay. And I say, oh, by the way, Medicare doesn't pay if you should go into, this, and this, and this. And so everything that I've learned from about presenting the product is from listening to so many presentations and taking the pieces of that fit into, myself,
your craft, personal craft. Wow.
Right.
So you did a lot of shadowing, right? Others, maybe successful agents.
Yeah.
You went to their appointments, see how they did it.
Yeah, I was a chef. What do I know about insurance, right? So, so I learned from people that had the experience. That's what you got to do in any business that you go into, right?
Yeah. That's such a great advice. I think agents need to do that more, right? Yeah. Like, there's usually, like, I have probably 30, 40 successful agents right now out of maybe 150, right? Maybe those need to shadow more.
So your new guys go along with them on a presentation. Yeah. I mean, that's really, I think that's worth so much, because they're in the home, they're in front of a real human, a live demonstration, and I think they'll gain a lot from that. That they can use,
Exactly. Great advice. What are some of the challenges you see with brokers? Like, and I'm pretty sure you get a lot of that, or maybe your managers tell you, okay, these are the challenges that we're having right now. Well, can you mention some of those challenges and maybe how to overcome it, or what advice do you have for those challenges?
Challenges for the brokers that we currently have, or brokers in general?
In general, like,
we need more. So all the good brokers need to have more babies, so we can have more brokers coming on into the industry. And we're getting a younger crowd now. But it took several years to get there, because I had a base of agents all around the state of Florida, and they're all now comfortable with large books of business, so they're not wanting to do tabletops.
They just maintaining,
right? And so getting those new agents is really key for me.
Okay.
And I don't care if you don't know anything. We're going to show you everything. We're going to make sure you have the tools just like you do for your agents, right? And so So for me, it's all about recruiting. Getting more brokers involved, because again, this industry is amazing, and once people learn what they can do and become, I think the door's wide open for people. I try to get college graduates that are, that don't have jobs that they just paid $100,000 for in their field. Those guys are hungry. Those guys are real hungry. Restaurant people, beautiful. They're used to working 10, 12, 15-hour days.
Wow.
Now they're coming here, they're working, 8-10 hours a day and getting way better results.
Way better. Wow. Maybe I should explore that niche. Restaurants, chefs, right? You've been in the business for so long. Like, what advice do you have for recruiting?
So I think recruiting is really it's trying to cast a net, but try to recruit in certain demographics, like I just mentioned, the college graduate that's still at home and doesn't have a job, right? So maybe go to find a list of recent college graduates that are really in a hard spot because they can't find a job in their preferred profession. But with the right enthusiasm and the right willingness to learn, they can do amazing things. And so not just casting a wide net everywhere, but also looking at specific areas or demographics of people, right? Recent high school graduates, also very, very good. I always talk to my waiters and tell them, hey, man, there's a better way. I give them my card all the time. And a couple have called back and gotten their licenses. But awesome. I really think that specifically targeting certain audiences, I think, is a good way to add to your casting a wide net. Yeah,
that's very, very good. Good advice. Yeah. Tell us about maybe books that have helped you grow throughout your career, Joey. Yeah.
Listen. There's a book out there called Listen. Listen Hard, I think it's called. But it's all about, again, the job of us is wanting to get into the house, get in front of somebody, and just start babbling all about all the stuff that we know. What about what they don't know? So you need to ask the right questions, and you really need to listen to what they have to say and take notes, because it's going to answer all the questions that for the rest of the presentation. I also just took a 10-hour course online with Jeremy Miner. I don't know if you know who he is, but the NetQ selling technique. It's all about neuroemotional questions that you ask people to get in front of anything that might come up when you're trying to close the sale, right? And so it's all about talking less and listening more. And all the books that I like to read are about talking less and listening more, because I'm a blabbermouth and I like to talk a lot. And so it's really, really important that you do that. You have to ask the right questions, and you're getting that emotional response back from the potential client that's going to lead you down a path of success.
And I think that's so important that you mentioned that. I remember this happened maybe 2 years ago. We recruited a new agent, and went in a few appointments with me, but now it was ready for this agent to go by themselves. And I'm like, I'll be available, give me a call if you have any issues. And he didn't call me or anything, but then he was not able to close the sale. He called me afterwards, and the first question I asked, okay, what was the person's current plan? What was the person, what plan did the person have? He didn't know what plan the person did have. So that showed me that he just maybe talked about what he could offer, but didn't ask the right questions or listen to what the needs were, because he didn't even know what plan the person had. So it's so important to listen, and I think just by listening, I think that's one of the things that happened to me when I got started in the business. Like, I just ask questions and just let them talk. And if they wanted to talk for 2 hours, or I let them talk for 2 hours. You know.
And then ego, our ego wants us to as men especially to unload all the knowledge we have at people, right? So the average agent talks 72% of the time during a presentation.
Wow.
So let's hush up and let's listen more, right? Let's ask the right questions and let's listen more.
I think it should be backwards, right?
Absolutely.
Customers should talk 70%.
Absolutely.
We 30%.
We want to know what your situation is, how you got there, what do you want to make better about it, and where do you need help? And that's what we're in the business for. So, listen.
Awesome advice. Awesome advice. Last question: if you have to give an advice to the 20-year-old Joey Anselmo, what would you say to Joey? And why?
You should have taken the offer up when I think it was an agency, a gigantic agency. I forget who it was, but I was managing a Pebbles restaurant in Longwood. And he gave me his card. He says, "Come to my presentation." It was a recruiting event.
Wow.
I wish I would have took his advice.
For insurance?
For insurance. I wish I would have took his advice when I was 20 years old. I mean, and they are just giant. And, I went there and I was sitting there during the presentation and I heard the word insurance and I just got up and I walked out because I was too stubborn or too, hooked on, oh my God, insurance people, from my parents. Yeah. So I wish I would have took that advice at 20. That would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing, man. Like I got a couple of young agents and I tell them, man, I wish I would have known about this business, starting this business with the knowledge I'm teaching you at 20 years old.
Oh my.
You cannot imagine your life will change in less than 5 years, Wow.
And, one of the things I was told when I was graduating culinary school is one of the instructors told me, you'll probably have 5 jobs in the next 5 years. I'm like, I have this job. This is my job. I'm not moving. And next thing you know, things change. Situations change. You move. Whatever happened. But know that where you are right now is not where you're going to be necessarily next year or the year after that. There's always room for progress and always room for improvement that you can set yourself up for success if you allow yourself to learn and listen and make adjustments in your life to be productive.
Wow. Love it, Joey. Any final comments for our brokers? Any other advice, final remarks?
Yeah, I think if you just make sure that, you are really, really on point with learning and learning from people that have experience in that. Get a mentor. Get a couple of mentors and learn from those people. Getting the license is great. It's a really good accomplishment. It's big. You'll never use a lot of that information anyway. But what you really need to learn is what people already have and have done and are successful at. And I feel it's important that you do that. And then make sure that you're assertive with it and wake up every morning, make your bed, of course, and then go out there and face the world and get the relationship with those providers, with that grocery store, with that local community relationship, and make things happen in your community. That's where it starts. It starts really at home, where you can really make a difference and become that Medicare expert for the people in your community, and everything will just explode from there.
Awesome. Love it, Joey. 25 years of experience here. Let's give it up. Thank you so much, Joey, for coming to our podcast.
Thank you, Jorge. I appreciate the time.
I love the time together. I think it was great advice. I'm going to apply some of this stuff that I just learned here with Joey. And guys, we have finished an amazing podcast. Joey Anselmo, Director of Sales in the entire state of Florida for WellCare Health Plans. You probably know Joey. He's been around forever. But if you didn't know Joey, now you know it. Expert on Medicare sales and just a wealth of knowledge. And this is what we provide to agents and brokers every week here. And we're coming back next time with another spectacular guest. So don't miss our Ideas Edition podcast, and I'll see you on the next one.